Good morning from the Strouch House. Um, Wanted to make a quick video. Hang on, kids are calling already. Yeah,
Is my stuff ready? Like, we're close?
yeah, they should be. Yeah. Um, so anyway, I wanted to make a quick video that just some quick reminders of CA. I know yesterday we did the review stuff, but a couple things. So there's going to be a couple questions on biomolecules. So remember, the main four we talked about were carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, and nucleic acids. So a quick rundown. Carbohydrates, remember, that's used for quick energy. They are in the structure. Remember, we talked about a ring pop. So they have the element CHO, and they would be like a ring pop. So like a ring structure. So they're a CHO and they're ring structure. Proteins, remember, they're kind of the jack of all trades. They build pretty much everything in your body. Enzymes are in that group. Remember, enzymes are that special class of proteins that help to speed up chemical reactions. So don't forget about those. And then as far as the look of a protein, it's CHON, right? So it's CHON. It's the only one that has just nitrogen. Okay, so it's CHO and N. Then we have lipids. Remember, lipids are fats, oils, and waxes, and they are great at long-term energy storage. So pound for pound or gram for gram, they're going to be the best at storing energy. And that's lipids, and structurally they look like an E. Remember, they have an E, and they're also another CHO. So CHO is going to be their elements. As far as the last one, nucleic acids, remember, that's your DNA and RNA, your genetic information. The look of them, remember, they're going to be CHON-P. So they're the only one that has phosphorus. So if there's a structure question and it has a P in it, you know they're talking about a nucleic acid. Building blocks, remember, nucleic acid, that's a nucleotide. Protein, that's an amino acid. Lipid, that's going to be glycerol and a fatty acid. And then for carbohydrates, remember, the monosaccharides are usually going to be kind of the building blocks there. All right, next thing that you possibly could see. Sorry, I'm moving around so much. Cells. So remember, prokaryote versus eukaryote. Eukaryote's going to have a nucleus. Prokaryote does not have a nucleus. Prokaryote are only going to be in the bacteria category, where every other living thing is going to be eukaryote. Diffusion and osmosis. Remember, osmosis is the movement of water across the membrane. Water is always going to move to where there's more solute to dissolve. And then active versus passive transport. Remember, active transport is it needs energy to happen, so it uses energy. Where passive transport, there's no energy required. So we talked about passive transport being like floating down the river, and active transport would be like swimming upstream. So as far as with or against the concentration gradient of the cell, passive transport would go with the concentration gradient, and active transport would go against the concentration gradient. There you go. It's a little better angle, right? So that's cells. Photosynthesis and respiration. Remember, photosynthesis only happens in plants and some algae. Respiration would happen in all organisms. Photosynthesis happens in the chloroplast. Respiration is going to happen in the mitochondria. So photosynthesis, remember, the goal is for the plant to make its own food. It's going to take carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight, and then the end result is going to be oxygen and glucose, C6H12O6. Respiration, on the other hand, is the flip-flop of that. So it takes the food, so C6H12O6 plus oxygen, and it creates carbon dioxide, water, and ATP. Remember, that's the main goal. Remember, we talked about ATP is kind of like cellular gasoline, that it's the energy that our cells use to do everything. You make more ATP when it is an aerobic process. So when there is plenty of oxygen for your muscles, you're going to make the ATP. Sorry, gotta get the coffee going. All right. Next up, last up. So it's good stuff. So that's cellular respiration and photosynthesis. There's probably going to be a couple questions about mutations. We just finished that. Remember, the biggest thing is for that insertion one. You had a sample yesterday, so you've got to look at the rest of that line of DNA, and if it's all screwed up, then it's going to be insertion. If there's one missing, obviously that's deletion, and then if it trades just one base for one, that's going to be substitution. Trying to think other big things. Talked about fusion a little bit. Talked about cells, photosynthesis, respiration. Oh, the cell cycle. So the cell cycle, remember that's DNA has to replicate, so that's the first thing. What's the end result of DNA replication? You get two identical strands of DNA. Remember the base pairing rules, DNA unzips and unwinds, base pairing happens, and then the end result, you get two identical strands of DNA. Then as far as the cell cycle, again, the end result is you get two identical daughter cells. This is when our body cells, our somatic cells, will replicate, okay? Stages, remember you have interphase, and that includes the DNA replication, and then you have mitosis, where you have prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and then finally cytokinesis, when the cell splits apart. Cancer, remember, so if the cell cycle gets messed up somehow, the end result is usually going to be tumors or cancer. I think that's about it. Sorry I didn't do this last night. I apologize. I had basketball practice with two of my boys for pretty much most of the night. But I will get this up quick. It's pretty early, so hopefully even first period, y'all will have a chance to watch it. Try to keep it short. Have a great morning. It's Friday. Woohoo. I'll see y'all there. Bye.